There's a growing trend in America for people to claim that both parties are the same. This is nothing more than an appeal to purity fallacy. It's a fallacy because the person claiming that both parties are the same seems to be expecting one party or another to agree with them 100% on all policies and issues. While both parties have their flaws, that doesn't mean that both parties are equally flawed to the same degree on all the issues. There's no such thing as a 100% pure and flawless political party. This is true of all political parties, even the Libertarians, the Green Party, and even anarchists. To claim otherwise is disingenuous. Another problem with the claim that both parties are the same is that the person saying it has been brainwashed into believing that there are only two political parties in the United States. In actuality, there are at least 24 separate and registered independent political parties. The exact number depends on how you count them, but there are a lot more than two choices when it comes to political parties. The problem is that most of these smaller independent parties have platforms that are so batshit crazy and extreme that they can't manage to win more than a local election. Until they come up with more mainstream strategies, people will continue to vote for the two major parties simply because most Americans don't hold extreme political ideologies. So does that mean that everyone should pick either their Democratic or the Republican Party? Not at all. What we should do is look at each candidate in each race and make our decisions based on what each candidate supports, regardless of party. I don't vote party. I vote issues that are important to me. Voting party, no matter the cost, is what got us where we are today. I'm an independent like 42% of all other American voters. We independents outnumber both Democrats at 27% and Republicans at 25%. At least 42% of Americans consider themselves to be independent voters. I don't claim to speak for all independents, but the reason I choose to remain independent is that it gives me the flexibility to vote on issues and not on candidates. No party, including the minor ones, as well as the big two, supports all the issues that I care about. So independent I remain. According to that same Pew Research Center study, here's what the majority of independent voters support. And neither Democrat nor Republican parties support all of these causes. Neither do any of the independent parties. I personally support all of these positions I'm about to name, as do most independent voters, and given the numbers, I suspect the majority of Americans do too. Maybe it's time for an independent party. The majority of independents support legalization of marijuana at 69%. Likewise with same-sex marriage at 71%. Independents prefer affirmative action and equal rights at 78%. 80% of independents believe immigrants strengthen America. 83% of American independents favor a dreamer path to citizenship. 70% believe that the system is rigged for powerful interests. 75% oppose a border wall. 49% believe that government regulation does more harm than good. 47% believe that smaller government is better. 93% believe in universal background checks for all gun purchases. 84% support 12 weeks of maternity leave. 84% also support investing in technological research. 85% believe in a low-income health care subsidy. 82% believe in a public option for health care. 85% believe in cutting taxes on those making less than $100,000 a year. And 74% believe in eliminating the estate tax. So according to this same study, most independents lean one way or another. I tend to lean more towards the Democratic Party because I tend to be socially liberal. There was a time when I was more dead center because I also tend to be fiscally conservative. There was also a time when the Republican Party was the party of fiscal responsibility, but that ship sailed years ago. So I lean more towards the Democratic side simply because at the moment they're more fiscally responsible than the Republicans, in spite of what the alt-right media would have you to believe. There was a time back in the 1980s when I considered myself a left-leaning libertarian, but the decline of the left wing of the Libertarian Party began in 1980 when David Koch was the Libertarian Party's vice presidential candidate. Since that time, the left side of the party has been slowly squeezed out to the point that the Libertarian Party is now the extreme right arm of the Republican Party. All you have to do is look at Rand Paul to confirm this. Some left libertarians will tell you that the Green Party is the party for left-leaning libertarians, but I don't think so. Given their batshit anti-vax and anti-GMO stances, plus their rabid cancel culture political correctness, they're too extreme on the other side of the political spectrum for any sane person. So independent I am, and independent I will remain. This doesn't mean that I think both parties are the same. This means that I will look at what each candidate has to offer, and make my voting decisions based on their individual positions.